Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Franco, and I'm back with another builder-based video here today. And this one's going to be a little bit different because I know my videos usually don't get a lot of views when I post builder-based content, but I think there is some very valuable tips that I can share in builder-based. As you can see, I'm at 5426 trophies, which is pretty high, and like it's the highest in my clan by a little bit. Um, Yeah, I mean I'm highest in home village too. But yeah, and my best ever is 6,692. But I just kind of want to get into some of the tips I have about builder base and why I'm so successful at attacking in builder base. You can ignore this feed. Usually it's all 6 stars, but I attacked the base here. Um and he had a really bad cannon cart trap, as you see. So I saw like, oh, this Mega Tesla crushers and stuff. I can take it out with a cannon cart, and he just trapped it and killed me. And then I actually happened to play him right after, which is kind of rare. I've actually never had the same person right back to back. So I put some barbarians in my army camp, and then had them die, and then took out the cannon cart and wiped through this base. But I actually failed because in the second stage, I misclicked, so I didn't even get to configure my army, and I dropped the air machine in a terrible spot, so he died right away, and I didn't have an army that I wanted to use or anything. Yeah, so I just used baby dragons here to wipe it out, which is honestly what I'm going to talk about is one of the best strategies in the game. And then I accidentally dropped the air machine right there, right in fire, and I was like, oh, let me drop the cannon cart. If I would have put 2 more baby dragons, I could have easily had a 6-star here, and I was just like, I don't even know what to do at that point. Yeah, and I just let everything kind of die out. It was still kind of close. The pekkas are so powerful too. But yeah, for my tips and tricks here. So the first thing, the most important thing that I have to make you better at builder base is rushing your builder hall. The most important thing in this game is rushing to builder hall 10. Builder hall 10 only gives advantages. There's no disadvantage to rushing your builder hall. Back in the home village, if you rush to the next town hall, I think it says when you even hit the upgrade thing, no, upgrading will reduce your loot from opponents with town hall 14 and below. So it is kind of significant because then you're going to have to raid your same attack or your same town hall level. But with builder hall, it's all purely based on trophies. So it doesn't even matter what builder hall level you are. All you do is you just get new defense and you can upgrade your troops to a higher level. So I always recommend rushing to builder hall level 10. And the reason is because all the best bases, obviously you have another defense, are with builder hall 10. And the second piece of advice I want to give is if you really just want to get trophies really quick, just copy this base. So what I do with my builder hall, my strategy, is I had a base like a while ago that I actually made, and then what I do, like I'm talking like months and months ago, then what I did is if I ever failed on a base and I couldn't attack it, what I would do is I'd copy that base. So I attacked a different base before, and that's what my second account's using, like way in the early days of builder base, and I would literally screenshot it and copy it. I know it takes effort because you can't just copy it online, but the ones that you copy online are always some of the worst bases that you can have. And that's one of my advice: never copy the bases online, because everybody knows where all the traps are, how to counter, exactly what army camp to use. Because sometimes I see bases that are repeats, and I can 3-star them like with my eyes closed. Like I've attacked them, like there's this one base like I attacked like 20 plus times. I'm actually gonna show that. So this guy you saw failed on my base here. I'm actually gonna show this one person in my clan. I think he has the base. I want to go check. No, he doesn't. He changed it, but he used to have the most basic builder hall base, and I would 3-star it so easily all the time. But yeah, this base that I have, I just copied because I attacked it, and I was like, whoa, I couldn't even get a 3-star on it. You saw in my battle log, like everybody kind of struggles to get 3-stars. And I literally just copied where he put the traps, because I went through the replay, like paused it, found all the traps and stuff. But it doesn't really matter. You can switch up the traps yourself. So I put cannon carts up top here, because that's the only vulnerability to this air mine here, is if you get it right at the perfect spot. So right at the perfect spot, I put a push trap, so he'll die of the double cannon there. But Yeah, so you just want to copy the bases. If you're hardcore like that, copy the bases that you really struggle with, because most likely other people are really going to struggle with it too. Or if you kind of want to be a little bit lazy, just copy this base because everybody struggles with this base for some reason. I actually had to attack this base. I think I saw it 2 more times after I copied it, and I've never 3-starred it. I mean, even knowing the strategy that 3-stars it, the only strategy that 3-stars this base that I've seen so far, well, let's look at my battle log quick. Yeah, is this the 6 pekkas and 2 wall breakers, and they always attack from the bottom side here. I don't know why, but it just works. And the second advice that I want to give for you to get high trophies in builder base, or I mean third, because the first one's rush to builder hall 10. Rush your builder hall as high as you can. The second one is copy this base or hard bases, because then you don't really have to be a base builder. And the third one is always upgrade the buildings in the second village. So you might think upgrade the buildings in the first village because all it matters is if you stop the people in the first village, and that's exactly true. Because if you upgrade the buildings in the second village, what you do, well, okay, it's misleading. You obviously want to upgrade all the buildings in your first village right away, because the second village, if you stop the first village, the second village could have all level 0 stuff. It doesn't even matter. So what you do is, say this archer tower, for example, if I were to upgrade it and it's level 8 going to level 9, then in this defense right here, this guy would definitely 3-star me every time, because there's 1 less archer tower. When you have 1 less defense, it makes such a difference at this higher level of builder base. So what I always do is I upgrade it and I move it to the second base and swap it with something else that's alive in the second base. So you always want your upgrading buildings in the second village base. So an example of what I do, it's even better when you can swap out, because I have no archer towers in this one, when you can swap out exactly for something in the first base. So I have double cannon in the second base and the first base. So whenever I upgrade it, I just upgrade it and swap out the alive one to the first village, because then you get extra damage for the first village. And you saw in my replay log, nobody really 3-stars my first village. So you always want to have the things upgrading in the second village, because it won't give you that it won't give you like that nerf to your defense at all, because most likely if someone gets to your second village, they're going to 3-star you anyway. I mean, you can't bank on it, but it's significantly better to have things upgraded in your second village. And then the fourth thing that I have for advice here is the troops. So you don't really want to waste your time upgrading pointless troops, and I'm not gonna lie, almost all these troops are pointless. You saw in my home village that I actually had nothing upgraded in my lab. I just don't think my lab is nearly as important as saving up my elixir for the heroes at this point, because the only troops that you really need, so the first one that you want to get maxed no matter what is the baby dragon. The baby dragon is so overpowered, and you only need to use baby dragons. And then the second one you want to get is P.E.K.K.A, and then maybe Cannon Cart. So these 3 are you can use for literally every attack strategy. And then I got the wall breaker because it helps with some P.E.K.K.A attacks and everything when you start to raid people with max level walls. But baby dragons are the most dominant strategy of the game, and if you upgrade them, you can wipe bases very easily. I'm not sure. Let's look at one of my replays here. I think, yeah, so like I said in one of my other builder-based tips video, is you kind of just like look to see if it's more ground-based or air-based. And most people put the Mega Tesla and the air bombs in the first stage regardless, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't attack with air. So I only attack with, wow, I attacked with air on this one. That's kind of strange. I think you should attack with ground on this one, but I only attack with air if there's a Mega Tesla, this guy, and maybe like a firecracker too. If there's a Mega Tesla, the big guy here, this guy, and firecrackers, you know it's more air-based than ground-based, because if you look at the ground, this is a bad example because I actually attacked this with air. If you look at the ground, there's only a double cannon, Oh, you know why I attacked with air? There's another reason, is if you can take out one of these things with a cannon cart, then there's only just this Mega Tesla, some firecrackers, and a air expo, which actually is not even that powerful. So you don't really have to fear that much. But yeah, you kind of just look at a base and see, obviously this is a little bit more advanced if you have the cannon cart leveled up, but you see if you can pick it off with the cannon cart. If you can pick off something valuable for the air with the cannon cart, go ahead. Air attack is 100% the way to go. But yeah, and then if it's more air-based than ground-based, then you just simply attack with pekkas. If it's more ground-based than air-based, you simply attack with baby dragons. And doing that, you can 3-star almost every single base. I don't know why, but the other troops don't really do too much. I don't even know how to use them, to be fair. I mean, maybe hogs are a good strategy, but yeah, baby dragons, just mass of them is just too powerful for even fully maxed out bases like this one. And another very important thing when you're doing baby dragons attacks is they're super fast. If you drop them in with like 50 seconds left, they'll 3-star the whole base almost every time. So what you do is you try to waste time with baby dragons. So that's why I like to pair them with cannon carts, because cannon carts just kind of waste some time and pick off a couple buildings. And the most important thing is the air machine. The air machine really gets a lot of value. So what you want to do is you want to drop the air machine, and then let it just like attack stuff for like a minute. And that attack stuff is just like extra buildings that the baby dragon don't have to attack and take damage while they're attacking and stuff, because he attacks from a range and most likely won't be taking damage while he's hitting the targets. So the air machine is super important. Like, my 5th tip is just to use the air machine as much as you can. You always want to try to use the air machine on the first stage. So a lot of like rookies and stuff will use the ground battle machine just because he's kind of mindless. You just kind of like drop him, and it's just like the king. Like, and he's the old hero. Like, everybody knows how to use him. But the air machine, I think, is significantly more powerful. So I'm upgrading the ground battle machine just because I think my attacks get significantly worse when I upgrade the air one. So my logic is upgrade the ground one till he's the highest he can get, so that when I'm upgrading the air one, my attacks aren't nearly as weak as right now. So then the second attack strategy is the pekkas and cannon carts, or even like this pekka and wall breaker. So the pekka and cannon cart is the same as the baby dragon attack that I just showed you. If you think you can pick off significant value with a cannon cart, then you go in with pekkas and cannon carts. And I kind of saw 2 cannons up here. Cannon cart could probably get some value. So yeah, drop in the cannon cart, and you just want to waste some time. So pekkas, you want to be a little bit careful, because they actually are a little bit slower. Not a little bit, they are slower than baby dragons. So you always want to start your pekka attack around like a minute 10 seconds left, because if you go any lower, you're really just going to be fighting the clock. The pekkas really can carry very well, but yeah, you'll really be fighting the clock if you wait any longer, and that's where a lot of my pekka fails come in, is just the time fail. But yeah, in this one, I use the cannon cart, and then there's not that many defenses left, maybe a double cannon or 2, and then a mortar and a crusher. Those are no match for the pekkas. And then they make easy work of this base. And then the key to the cannon cart too is you want to save him for the next village as well. You don't want him to die and rush in to get a little bit of value, and then he's not there for the next attack. The cannon cart is so valuable, even if he has a sliver of health. So it's honestly just worth just saving him, because his initial deployment is so much more valuable than his like late game on his fast mode, where he rushes in and maybe gets like another hit on a cannon or something. That wouldn't really matter, because the pekka would take it out anyway. But yeah, so then on the second village, you kind of just got to be able to read the base. That's kind of a skill. You can't just either do one of those 2 attack strategies. You got to be able to see like, hey, I have baby dragons, should I use pekkas with it? So ground air hybrid, which is kind of what I try to use a lot of the time, or can I just keep going with my same attack strategy and wipe through the base? So it really depends on the base and everything. I can't really give too much advice on the second base, but the first base, you always want to try to attack with baby dragons or pekkas, and you will notice a significant improvement in your attacks. Yeah, I mean, that's about all the tips that I have. I don't really use any of these troops. I think it's just a waste of your elixir. And like the last thing, I guess number 6, is if you start to get where I am, I want to give this advice, but I'm not an expert in it now. I just upgrade the heroes instead of troops at this point. Like I know it's satisfying to always have something upgrading in your lab, but at a certain point you got to realize like, hey, I'm not going to use any of these troops. It would be significantly better to me to start upgrading the heroes and everything. I mean, that's it for the video. I hope you guys appreciated these tips and tricks, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.